Told by a witness who was on the bridge when it collapsed, there was bumper-to-bumper traffic in one direction going about 10 miles an hour. This bridge was 64 feet above the water in the Mississippi River, built in 1967, and it has collapsed.
Once the horror of the 35W bridge collapse began being broadcast on television, this picture scared all of us. A school bus in the wreckage. 52 children were on board.
I could not believe what my eyes saw. The bridge just collapsed, oh my God. Cars in the water, lives lost. I was in high shock, then my life paused. All these horrifying things clouded my thoughts. Was it terrorism, a suicide bomb? This is a bridge we all frequently drive on. It could have been your father or my mom. Glued to the tube, jaw to the floor, an image my mind's never saw before. What a horrific scene, rubbing my eyes like, is this a dream? And at first it was so surreal, but then there it was so for real. For 40 years that bridge has been there, and in a few seconds it vanished into thin air.
It is one of the most memorable pictures from that day. A school bus filled with children hanging on the edge of the bridge collapse.
Nothing can ever take that day back.
August 1st is a day Kim Dahl will never forget.
You do think, 50 feet back, we could have been in the river and things could have been different.
The 10-year veteran bus driver managed to hold onto the steering wheel while hitting the brake with one foot and using her other foot to hit the emergency brake so the bus wouldn't slide.
I don't feel like a hero. That day, obviously, God was, watching that bus and gave that bus wings to, land where it did. There were 63 of us on that bus. It could have been way worse.
All the local news teams had coverage, live footage from below and above. We saw the fire on that semi-truck, sitting right next to that yellow school bus. And little did I know then, the person in that driver's seat was one of my close friends. The woman who was in a world full of pain and applied that parking brake I've known since 4th grade. Kim Dahl, she said the bus must have had wings. I would agree from the position of the landing. A 40-foot plunge on the concrete. We felt helpless as we all sat watching. Slightly leaned right up against the edge. A few more feet and everybody's dead. But amazingly, everyone got out safely, thanks to a few people's bravery. And that day, those ordinary people turned into extraordinary heroes. In the midst of a crisis and danger, risked their own lives to help complete strangers. On August 1st at 6:05, numerous were hurt and 13 died. Everybody's got a theory behind it, but the real reason it fell, we may never find it. So all we can do is just speculate, like did the bridge exceed its recommended weight? Or was it the bent gusset plates? Or maybe it was just fate? I guess it just goes to show you really never know when it's your time to go. Apparently there are no guarantees, and when I think about it I can barely breathe. And time might never heal those scars. It's so hard when it happened in your own backyard. And yes, life must go on, but it's hard to believe when your trust is gone. And soon we'll have to cross that bridge again and overcome those fears that live within. That tragic event hit too close to home for me to ever forget.
All of the kids made it off of that bus for some reasons we don't know, and for some reasons we can introduce you to. Jeremy Hernandez, a volunteer with the youth on the bus, did his part. He pried open the bus's back door and carried kids out, one by one, handing them to a stranger named Gary. Gary was driving his truck near the bus at the time of the collapse. Gary Babineau did his part.
When you hear 50-some kids screaming, you can't run the other way.